So my name is Mackenzie Thirkill, and I am the current digital host and reporter for the Orlando Magic. I've been with them for 2 seasons, and I've been working in sports for now 6-7 years. Aside from that, I also really like to advocate for mental health as well as ocean conservation. So yeah, quick little summary.
Awesome. Thank you for joining us on the Who Not Do series, first off. And I know you really want to use your platform to talk about mental health awareness and what that means to you. So if you could start off by kind of telling us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so it's, I think, something that everyone should be comfortable talking about. It's something that societally we've really grown more into, and we've really leaned more into it because we've realized how important it is to have such a sound mental clarity in this world, given everything that's constantly going around us, whether that be social media, in our job, within our families, within so many different aspects of life. I personally suffered from depression and anxiety, and those are things that I still suffer with through this day. And I've been given the platform that I do have to just talk about it. And I think it's just something that the more we talk about it, the more we feel comfortable in it. And it's just another step in trying to improve everyone's lives to live happy and healthier.
And it's something that you said you have struggled with, still do struggle with. What are some ways that you go about dealing with it on a day-to-day basis, especially with your job and how demanding it can be, and not on the road more so, but just how sports are always changing?
I think for me, first and foremost, something that's really important is self-care and taking time for yourself to really be able to just sit with yourself and not get caught up in day to day in the grind that this job does involve. And for me personally, my routine to really help me ease into a day is just really taking my time in the morning, really enjoying that cup of coffee, meditating, journaling, listening to music. It's just little things. Obviously there are the do, it's like the vacation after the season is over, but to really kind of stay in a good place mentally for me during the season, that's really important. I'm also very vocal about it. So luckily I have been blessed with having bosses, whether it's even now or in the past, who are really understanding and really caring about me keeping a good head on my shoulders, because it's important for the job, because you don't want someone to ever crack or lose it. But I think it's also just important on a human level. You want your employees to be happy because you want them to be happy coming to work. So I think it's just really important to vocalize it. And obviously you don't do it whereas in a poor me, poor I, poor woe, help me, I'm helpless. I think there's ways to go about it that you can still feel empowered to not be okay. Because you have to realize not being okay is okay within itself. And so it's really just communicating it and taking deep breaths, a lot of deep breaths.
What are some ways to, like you said, how you manage and stuff like that, but the way you use your platform to speak out about it and be vocal? And I know you're very vocal in the workplace and to your boss and to your coworkers about it, but what are some other ways that you spread awareness?
I think social media, first and foremost. I am not the best at it, and it's something I need to be better at, and I am very much aware of that. But I have always kind of has said things here and there. I'm really getting into it more as I become more comfortable talking about my past struggles. I've gone on podcasts to talk about it. I've opened up my DMs for people to talk about it if they ever need help. And that's actually been, I think, the biggest thing to see is anytime I've talked about it, even though I'm even if one person listens, the amount of feedback I get back and the emails I'll get from people who are so unsuspecting, who also are suffering with depression and anxiety, and just for them to be like, wow, you were able to talk about cool, that makes me feel a little bit better to talk about it, is just so rewarding within itself. And that's not even the reason why I do it. It's not to reward myself. It's just to kind of get the ball rolling for everyone to be comfortable. But I think that's really the biggest thing, is advocating for it on social media and showing my fault and showing my vulnerability in whatever way I can.
Mackenzie Thirkill is a person. If there's one thing you could tell someone about yourself or who you really are, how you describe yourself, what would that be?
Oh,
Outside of
that
sports,
is,
outside of everything else, what would it be? Or one thing you want everyone to know about you? Maybe put it that way.
that's a great question because I am so used to being in the driver's seat of conversations and constantly asking other people the questions. And there's definitely been times when I've like talked to friends or talked to anybody and I'm like, man, I wish somebody would just ask me. Sometimes I wish it would, like, the tables would be turned and what do I wish people could know about me? And there's things that I'm very vocal about. I think I internalize a lot and kind of stick to the bare minimum sometimes when I'm reciprocating conversation, when questions are being asked, because I am just constantly trying to turn it around on the other person. So I'm like, no, tell me more about you. I want to know more about you. And sometimes it's just, sometimes something as simple as like starting a question with like, well, how do you feel about this can lead somewhere so special. Because I love a good deep dive. I love a good deep dive. Like I like to know the original thought that led you to now 2 miles down the road and like how you got there. And I think sometimes it's not even about someone asking me the question as much as it is me needing to like let my guard down to be vulnerable in that sense. I think a lot of it is just like more of the feeling aspect because I think in today's age with social media, there's a lot of surface level conversation that happens. People don't want to deep dive. They don't want to talk. It's just very much like, how was your day? It was fine. Okay. Like, as opposed to just being like, what's up? Not much. Being like, how are you feeling today? Like, how are you feeling today? Like, tell me something good. That change the narrative a little bit as opposed to being so linear and sticking in lane. I think that's the biggest thing because I like to think I'm pretty insightful. I love talking about psychology and I love talking about philosophy, and those are things I don't really get to do that much, and those are also areas that people don't like to get into if they don't have to because other people are kind of like, oh, it's a little intimidating. So I think those two things I would love for people to be a little bit more inquisitive about, because those are things that I don't get into on social media. Like I don't talk about like, well, where do you stand on this philosophical theory? Like that's not something people usually like to get into on sports Twitter and sports Instagram. So yeah, I think that's an aspect that when people actually start to get to know me, they're like, huh, I never like would have pictured you to be into that, or something like art. Like I love museums and following different art accounts and stuff like that. So yeah, I would say that that's something I wish people would ask me more of. Don't really have anything else to add, but I do want to, of course, thank you for your time as well and interviewing me, and you did a great job. And I can't wait to see what the future has to hold for you in this industry.
Thank you. I was really nervous, but you always make me feel comfortable.
Aw. Do what I can.
Kind of help me out. So I appreciate it. Thank you for your kind words. Thank you for giving me your time. And I'll reach out if I need anything else, if that's okay with you. And I'm going to keep following.
Yeah.
I'm excited to see all that you have in store for your career ahead of you as well. And just you as a person, I genuinely thank you. Even the text that you sent me, I genuinely thank you for that. And just like the little things and the way that you are is really inspiring to me. So you gave me a lot of big sister vibes.
That's great because I always wanted to be a big sister.
Really? Well, you like on me, so that gives you anything.
Yes, add it to the resume. Would make perfect big sister.